Hello and welcome to this new video, and I am looking at another issue of Marvel Adventures. In this video, we're looking at Marvel Adventures Spider-Man issue 5. This issue released July 6, 2005, with a cover date of September 2005. The story is titled Power Struggle. I love that title for an Electro story. The story is written by Steve McKeever, penciled by Patrick Swarberger, inked by Norman Lee, and lettered by Dave Sharp. When Peter Parker goes to his boss, J. Jonah Jameson, editor-in-chief of the Daily Bugle, for a job so he can help his Aunt May's mortgage, the supervillain Electro breaks in and tells Jameson and Peter that he is about to take over the city, kill Spider-Man, and afterwards he wants the Daily Bugle to retract what they said about him in the past, and then write a respectful article about him. Of course, after Electro leaves, Peter turns into Spider-Man and goes looking for him. And Electro just announces his plans on the big screen in Times Square. Spider-Man confronts Electro at the power plant. Electro has hooked himself up into the electricity of the plant and is stronger than ever, so how can Spider-Man stop him? Let's first talk about Electro's part of this story. The issue opens up with him reading about an earlier defeat in the Bugle. Electro is mad that Spider-Man has made him a mockery to the public. Every time he tries to make a name for himself, Spider-Man beats him. Electro wants to be more than he is already. And that's a character trait he's had forever. In this story, the plot revolves all around it. In this universe, it's Electro's second appearance. His first appearance was with the rest of the Sinister Six in issues 2 and 3. I love how threatening Electro's powers are in this story. He has so much power when he's hooked into the power plant that he can destroy computers and air conditioners all across the city. There's even a moment where Spider-Man punches him in the face, but he doesn't feel it. The power he has isn't just limited to electricity, he is also invulnerable. And now let's talk about Spider-Man. Well, first, he stops a whole helicopter from crashing into the ground. That was a crazy show of strength. And right after this, he punches Electro and the villain doesn't feel it, showing just how crazy strong Electro gets. There's a moment where Electro knocks Spider-Man down off the roof into the power plant and he almost falls into the spinning rotor blades. He saves himself switching web cartridges just in time. I find it interesting that in the prequel book to the Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie, a situation like this causes Peter to lose his costume getting ripped up by the blades, and Electro is the villain in the TASM 2 movie and in this issue. I always love the moments where a regular civilian helps out the superhero. In here, this is how Electro gets stopped, by giving Electro too much power, shortening himself out. And there's one thing I noticed, for 2 panels, and that's all just 2 panels, Spider-Man wears rubber boots and gloves to take on Electro. Now, Electro having all of this power reminds me of my favorite Electro story called Light the Night. In that story, Electro can't control all the power he has. But in here, for most of the time he can, he just gets overloaded and then shortens out. Kind of a simple way to defeat Electro. It's not one of the more interesting ways, but keep in mind, this series is more for first-time readers into the Marvel Comics. Peter and Jonah have a little back and forth with their dialogue in here, which I always appreciate. And I like that Electro is a little funny to read about here. There's like 2 pages about Peter Parker in school, and it's just him being bullied by Flash Thompson and him saying something ironic since he doesn't know that Peter is secretly his hero, Spider-Man. I also like that Liz Allen is the one to push Flash to stop teasing Peter. This is probably the greatest Electro entrance in the battle I've ever seen, if you remove the dialogue. With this picture, the story opens with this page, and the narrator realizes that it looks like the story started at the end, but it turns out it's a picture from the paper Electro's reading. I always like it when the narrator speaks to the reader this way. Also, I'm pretty sure this is parodying the giant splash panel from Amazing Spider-Man Annual 1 where Spider-Man punches Electro and basically does this exact same thing. So those are my thoughts while reading Marvel Adventures Spider-Man issue 5, Electro's only solo story in the series. Thanks for watching.